Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of What's New in Neos. My name is Bryan Billig. I am the head of customer education here at Assembly Software, and this is my favorite webinar to do because we just had a big Neos release. It's chock full of all kinds of exciting stuff, and we get to dive into it today. So, real quick, if you haven't attended one of these What's New in Neos webinars yet, it's a fast one. We keep moving. I try to get you in and out as quickly as possible. I know you got stuff to do today. So I'm going to try and squeeze it into 30 minutes for you. I will do my best to get you out on time. If you have questions, there is a Q&A box at the bottom. I will try to keep one eye on it and save a little time at the end. But man, we got some cool stuff to cover. Keep in mind, if you are with us live today, I'm so happy to have you. If you have colleagues that were not able to join and you would like to share, as always, we're recording the session today. We'll edit it down and send it out just as soon as we can after the webinar is complete. And then you can rewatch anything that you might have missed or want to look at again, or of course, share with other members of your team. Every time we add new features, I want our users to be able to take best advantage of them and really dive in. So let's go ahead, close this stuff up, and start sharing Neos. All right, we always start what's new in Neos the same way, and that's by going to our question mark icon here, our support portal in the top right corner of the screen. And in the support portal, if you haven't been for a while, you're going to get this little what's new slide out. If you've already dismissed it, don't worry about it. Just give it a click. It'll come right back out. And there's two things to be aware of here. Every release, we update our change log, which is kind of a technical rundown of everything, all the new features that have come out for Neos over time. And then we have this specific release. So this is the August 2024 release. And if we click here, it's going to open up a web page that's going to walk us through all of the exciting stuff that we need to see. And what we're going to do today is we're just going to work our way down this web page so you can see it all. So right out of the gate here, we have got the enhancements to the Outlook add-in. And when this says customer request, this is underselling it. This was a massive customer request. A lot of you went over to the idea portal and said, please, 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 I wish the Outlook add-in could do this. And we were able to deliver it in this release. So what is it? It is bulk tagging. And what that means is instead of sending emails from Outlook into Neos one at a time, you can do as many as you need. So we're going to go to Outlook. I'm going to use the web-based Outlook as an example here. Let me go ahead and delete that because this is my actual email here. Go away, delete. All right. You can use this in the Outlook web-based version or the Outlook desktop version. But either way, you need to install the Outlook add-in. And the way to do that, I'm going to go back over to the support portal here real quick, is if you click that question mark and you come to the support portal, it's the second one in the frequently asked questions. Top question is advanced search. Number 2 is installing the Neos Outlook add-in, and it's going to give you all the instructions, a nice little walkthrough of exactly what you need to do. Once that's done, you have the ability to use it. So you can see I've got one email here that is already tagged to Neos, and I've got 3 more from the same entity. So if I click one, I can go to our little Neos logo here, and I can tag the email. But this time, I'm going to select 2, and I'm going to select 3. So I've got all 3 emails that I want to send over at one time. I've got my Neos button down here, and it's going to open up the tagging module here. Now, the way that this works, if you haven't used it before, is it's real simple. It's going to allow you to search for a case, but it's also going to automatically search your Neos system for the sender's email address and then make a suggestion based on that, because this sender is a party in this case. And then you'll also have your most recently open cases in case you happen to be posting stuff or tagging stuff to a case that you're actively working on. You don't have to hunt for it. All the most recents are right here. So I've got matching email right here, and I'm going to tag all three emails at one time. Badoop, badoop, badoop. Done. And look, it's already there. They're already tagged. And if we head over to Neos and we open that case, they'll all be there, including everything you want from that email filed into your Neos system. All right. There is more, obviously, with the Outlook add-in. There's a lot of cool things that are happening there, but that's the basics. An email comes in, you want to save it to a case in Neos, it's going to make it super easy to do that. In addition, if let's say we just tag this to a case, and now we want to reply, and we want to tag our reply, I want that to go over as well. It's going to go even a step further and say, hey, this email is already tagged in this case. So let me rephrase that. That came out weird. A version of this email, you're replying to an email that has already been tagged to this case. So would you like to tag this one as well in the same place? Yes, I would. That way I can keep track of all of my different, channels of conversation in this email thread, whether it's the email coming in, whether it's me replying, whether it's me forwarding. Once it's been tagged, it already knows what case it's associated with, so you don't have to go hunting every time. It already knows where it needs to go. All right, let's go back to our list here. That's the Outlook add-in. As always, there are videos here. There's knowledge-based articles in the support portal that will walk you through this a little bit slower than I am now, so you can see everything step by step. All right, let's keep going down. Calendar enhancements. All right, so our last release, we put out a whole new version of the calendar with all kinds of cool features and functionality. And we got a lot of feedback from our users that said, okay, this is great. I'd also like to see this. I'd like to see that. Wouldn't it be neat if? And we reserved a chunk of our development team to answer those requests. So again, these are new features. This is new functionality that is coming because you all asked for it. So let's go back into Neos, and we're going to go into a case, and we're going to go to our case calendar tab. Now, let me break down what's happening here. I explained it in the last releases, what's new in Neos, but I want to go through it one more time because this is different than it's been in the past, and I want everybody to understand it. So there are two different types of calendar events. There are your calendar events here, which are, I describe them as like live events, active events. Where do those go? I guess they were canceled. What that means is that this is an event that is actually taking place. Let's go ahead and make one here because I wanted one to be there. And we'll call this a client conference. And we'll make it for right now. We're going to give it a type of client conference because I want everything to be nice and lined up. And status is open and save. And this is a live event. So if I go to my calendar right now, you'll see, one, I'm supposed to be in a webinar, but two, I have a client conference scheduled for right here, right now. This is a live event. The second category are the case events. So case events are records of an event, but it is not live. It is not currently in your calendar. It is not something where you have to be there at a particular time. So why do we have case events? I call them an archive, a place where you can store records of events that are no longer on your calendar. So if you have, an adjuster or an opposing counsel that is constantly dodging appointments or dates or rescheduling over and over again, you don't want to just keep moving that one live rescheduled calendar date, because if this becomes a real problem, you want a record of every time that it's happened. So what you can do is when you reschedule a calendar event, Neos is going to ask you, hey, okay, we'll reschedule this, but would you like to keep a record of the original date in the case? And that's what the case events tab is. It's a record of the previous events that have been canceled or rescheduled, or maybe they're done and you pulled them off your calendar, but you still have a record of them here as opposed to calendar events, which are live open events. Then you have all. So this will show you live events as well as archived events. Now, the trick is these are two very different pieces of data. One is coming from Outlook, it's coming from your calendar, and one is stored in your Neos database. So we don't have the same functionality on this combined all event screen. But that's okay, because 98% of the time, this is where you're going to want to be. You're going to want to be on the calendar events tab because you're going to be mostly focused on the events that are live, that are active, that are, you got to be there at a particular time. Each of these separate categories have the full grid functionality. So if you want to sort them by start date, by type, by whatever you want to do, you can do that in both of these places. It's just more challenging in the combined one because we got two different sets of data. So if you ever want to sort your calendar events and see, earliest to latest or however you want to do it, hang out on this calendar events tab, and then you can sort them. Sorting one item isn't that impressive, but you get the gist. In addition to that, we now have the ability to reactivate archived events. So if there's something over here in case events that was originally canceled, but we need to put it back on the calendar, we can do that. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to change the status from canceled back to open, and then I'm going to click send to Outlook. So what that's going to do is it's going to say, first, do you want to keep a record of the original? In this instance, I'm reactivating it, so I don't need the archive anymore. I'm taking it out of the archive, and I'm putting it into kind of the live bin. We'll say send to Outlook. It's going to send that appointment back to Outlook and back to your calendar events. So now I have two here, and hey, two sorts better than one. So you have the ability, if there's anything in the case events tab that you want to bring back over to the calendar, click of the button, it's coming back over, and it's going to be waiting in calendar for you. All right. So that's what I wanted to show you on the case calendar tab inside of a case. Let's go to the actual calendar itself. So a couple of cool things. Here is my classic week view, right? If I jump to the month view, it becomes a little crowded. There's kind of a lot going on here. I can hover, I can see individual events, I can see what's kind of happening. But if I have very busy days, depending on the size of my monitor, depending on the resolution of my browser, it might be hard to see what's actually happening here. Let me just verify you guys are seeing everything I'm seeing. Yep, still looks good. So what we've done is we've added these little numbers at the bottom. Very simple. So on this particular day, on the 12th, I can see that, I've got somebody out of office, I've got my morning stand-up, and I've got 4 more appointments. So I know that there's a lot happening on this day. If I give it a click, it will immediately switch to the day view of that day, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can see all 6 appointments in one spot. Or I can go back to my week view, and I can see everything I need to see. All right. So that's the ability to see multiple items or jump quickly from a month view to a day view to get a good idea of what's happening with your calendar. The other is the return of staff groups. So you have staff groups in Neos where you can take a whole bunch of users and put them in a particular bucket. And a lot of times firms do it by role. You have the attorney group or the intake group or the managing partner group. And if you want to message all of those people or you want a calendar for all of those people, you have that ability. So let's say I've got this trial date here that was from that case. And my attendees, I can add people individually if I want. I can just put myself in there and that works fine. But now I have this plus groups button. So if I give plus groups a click, then I have my staff groups. And I can select my intake staff and click save. And what it's going to do is it's going to go get all of the people that are in that intake group and put them all in there. One foul swoop, easy click. Now my entire intake department is invited to a trial. Well, I probably wouldn't invite my intake people to a trial, but if it's an intake meeting, then I want them all there and I don't want to have to go through and click them individually. So it's a very easy way to navigate. In addition to that, you can view calendars by groups if you like, but fair warning, it's going to get complicated. So staff calendars up top, we can add individual people if we want. So if I want to see one person's calendar, I can add them with a click, and then now that person's calendar is going to be here merged with mine. But I can also add a group. Same concept, go to groups, go to intake, click save, and all of those people will be added. That can get a little busy. So what you can do, and we added this in the last update, was the split view, so you can kind of separate them out. But word of warning, this is maxed out at 20 users. You can only view up to 20 users' calendars at once, because anything more than that honestly may induce seizures. It's kind of a lot going on. So let's unselect all of these. So we have my clean calendar once again. And the last thing we added to calendars in the new version of calendars is calendar reporting. Now, we do have this cool calendar search function up here. So let me do that one more time just so you can see it. Regular calendar, magnifying glass, give that a click. It opens up this calendar list view, and it's kind of like browse cases or browse documents in that you've got a list of all the different calendar appointments and everything that's going on. You can search by case, by staff, by date range. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. It's kind of like an advanced search for calendar. But if you like the reporting, you can go to Reports, Calendar Reports, and there's 3 clear, easy calendar reports right here. So if I open one of these up, it's the same as all of the other calendars, as the other reports. You guys are good at this functionality by now, but the concept is, this is a report, attendees, contains, you put in who you want. This is by email address, so you're going to want to enter their email address depending on how your firm sets that up. Then you can put in date ranges. You can add any other criteria you want. You run the search. It's going to show you all the calendar appointments for that entity. So the return of calendar reporting specifically. All right. That's what I wanted to show you for calendar. And like I said, we're moving fast. We're going to keep rolling. So let's jump to our page here and see what's next. Calendar. AI. Okay. So we introduced NeosAI in the last release, and it's really cool. And I know a bunch of you have already been taking advantage of it, but it's just the beginning. In almost every release from here on out, there's going to be improvements to NeosAI, just making it better and better and better. And this release is no exception. So we've got a couple of things to cover here. I'm going to go out of order here and just show you this in an easy way. So there are 3 primary categories of NeosAI at the moment. There is document summary, there is document extraction, and then there is document generation. So we'll start with summary. And the concept of document summary is you guys receive documents all the time, right? From a variety of different sources, and some of them are very big. And yes, it is your responsibility to review those documents, but NeosAI can help make that process simpler. So I've got a letter of representation here. I already uploaded it. I already analyzed it with NeosAI. We've made a change to the Case Docs tab. So you see this details and this dropdown. That used to be a 3-dot menu. So everything that was in the 3-dot menu is now in this little dropdown here. It's all the same stuff: open, email, download, duplicate, unlink, copy to another case. All of those things that were in that 3-dot menu are here with the addition of delete. That's an ironic sentence. Delete used to be a trash can all the way down at the end of the row. Now you don't have to go hunt for it. It's right here. So the 3-dot menu is replaced by this little dropdown. And then you have the details button, which is a shortcut to the side pane. So you click the details button, the side pane is going to open up for you. You don't have to hunt for the right place on the row to kind of click to get it. And where that's helpful is with the document summary. So if you have uploaded a big old document and you've asked NeosAI to analyze it for you, it's going to create a document summary, which is like the 1-paragraph version of the document. So here we've got a letter of representation that says, I am representing Betty Ross and blah, 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 State Farm, I'm coming for you. And it's got that rundown there, as well as document details, which is kind of like the most important actual lines extracted from the document. So you can see the document summary with just a click. All right, now let's jump to my favorite part of NeosAI so far, which is document extraction. Document extraction is when you have a document come in that contains data that you would like to store in Neo somehow. Not just the document itself, but the information contained within the document. So I'm going to do this for you 2 times and show you what we're working with here. But the new place to access it is in accounting, and under accounting in the values tab. So what this is this is a global values tab. Again, similar to browse cases or browse documents. These are all your value items spread over all of your cases. Now, your finance team is probably going to spend a little more time here than, your regular frontline staff. But so you have awareness of how this works, we now have the ability to add value items here and have them analyzed by NeosAI. So we're going to go ahead and add an invoice, and I'm just literally going to drag and drop it. Oh, goodness. It's hiding. I got to make my screen bigger, and we're going to grab this and drag it right there. So this is an invoice, and we're going to upload it, and NeosAI is going to analyze it on the fly. While it's thinking, let me just show you what the document looks like. So classic invoice, hospital invoice, couple of medical procedures here, line items, and a total. Close that up, go back to Neos. And this is a breakdown of all of the individual items from that invoice that I can now create value items for. We can create one single item. We can take the whole thing and go, nope, one invoice, one value entry, or we can break it down and do them individually. For those of you that haven't used this yet, here's a great tip to make this easier. If you want to do them individually, check the boxes. And then you get this new row up top that says, that gives you the ability to then apply whatever you enter one time down the row. So I happen to know this is going into case 200746, and the select code is medical. Okay, apply, and you'll see, oh, sorry, gotta search, gotta select, and apply. Boom. All of them in one foul swoop, don't have to go line by line. Of course, you'll have to select parties and providers. You can do the same thing, and all of that will kick over to the case and save them as value entries in the case, which is very cool. Now I'm going to show you a different way to come at this. We're going to come out of accounting. We're going to go into our case. We've got our case docs here, and we're going to add a different invoice. But this time, it's an invoice from the firm. So if I generated it out of whatever financial system I'm using, we're going to go ahead and drop it in here. This is, again, an invoice, and I want to analyze with NeosAI, and it's going to take a look at it, break it all down. But this time, I don't have to enter what case it's for because I'm in the case. I've already sent it to the case itself. So that's complete. Let's open it up and create value records. Same screen. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to pick all of these items. And so all but one, there we go. And we're going to say that these are case expenses. And the date is this date. And the provider is our firm here. There we go. And apply. And so now I've applied that to all but one, because this, I'm going to say, is a time entry, specifically a time entry. Select that and save. So now what it's done is it's taken that invoice and it has created individual value items from that invoice. So if we go to value, we will see all of these value entries: case, 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 and time. So you don't have to spend that time entering all of these individual value items when you get an invoice. Like I said, my favorite part of NeosAI. But in addition to that, since we entered a time, it created a time entry. So not only are we creating value items, we're creating time items. They're linked together. You're in good shape. So that is the improvements that we've made to NeosAI document extraction. Powerful, powerful stuff. All right. Oh, I am already running way long. I've got so many cool things to show you. So let's go back to case docs and we'll cover our third category of NeosAI, and that is document generation. I'm going to generate with NeosAI. I'm going to select a demand letter. Next, it's a negotiation. Next. So this is the AI document generation screen. And if you've played with it, you're already familiar with it. But basically, you can select, your tone, which is always demanding, your length. I like to do it quickly and short. And then you've got these different sections. So this is the way that it was in the last release. But now you have the ability to multi-select here. So if I have multiple plaintiffs, if I have multiple insurance carriers, if I have multiple whatever in this area, you can now select multiple data points for NeosAI to pull in to consider when it's generating these artificial intelligence documents for you. Okay, that'll do it for NeosAI. Let's go back to our list here and see what we got next. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I know that there's a lot going on here. Okay, dynamic forms. This is very, very cool, very powerful, but a little tricky to understand. So first, I'm going to explain kind of how this helps, and then I'll go back and show you how it works. All right? Man, we got a lot of people with us today. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so first, the concept of dynamic forms is that you can create an entire page of data, of forms, with a similar theme to it, like examinations or treatments or things like that, that you would like to pull into a case file. But then it's not there to start with. It is only pulled in when you need it. Because Neos is a big program and a wildly customizable program. So I've got an MVA case type setup here that I've continued to add to and add to and add to over the years that I've been doing these demos. And as you can see, I've got a lot of tabs. I've got a lot of data in a lot of different places. I've got a lot going on. So one of the benefits, there's a variety, but one of the benefits of this concept of dynamic forms is you can simplify your original case type setup and then only add additional things as they're needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my MVA, big case type that I've got here, and I'm going to switch over to what I started a new one called auto accident, and it's nice and clean. As you can see, I only have the basics here. Oh, I got to delete that. I gave away the ending here. Okay. So I've just got my basic tabs, but I am now receiving more information that I would like to add to this case. So I've already built these out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Quick Add and Dynamic Form, and I get to choose which collection of fields that I've built out and that I would like to add. And we're just going to start with an examination. And I have the ability to add it to the current tab down at the bottom, or as a new tab here on the left-hand side. So for the moment, we're going to add it to the current tab. We're going to add it to the case tab. So on the fly, we're adding new fields to the case tab. So the date for this was Monday. The medical provider is, we'll pick a hospital, Johns Hopkins. The examination type, again, I've built all this out ahead of time, and it was an X-ray, and we're going to say broken arm was the examination results. So just these 4 fields, real quick, save, and it's going to drop it right in the bottom of the case tab for me. And again, I put too many, I didn't clear my system out here, but This latest one, as you can see, it's right there. And you get to see it in advance, but I can build this out. I can add multiples here. So I've got more than one that I can add with me so far. So the ability to take a page of data and then just go ahead and pop it into your case with all of the relevant information is really cool, and it is really powerful. Now, the next 3 minutes, and I'm going to go really quick, is for you Neos administrators, because there's a couple of things you need to know. First, there is a permission associated with this. And if you need to change permissions, say it with me. We're going to permission groups, not individual staff profiles, permission groups. So we'll go to our attorneys, and I already set this up, but we'll go down to the general section because that's where it lives. And we've got this new dynamic forms. So we're going to give this group of attorneys the ability to access them, add new ones, modify existing ones, but not delete them because it's a whole page of data. So we want to be very careful with this delete function. Then once that's set, we can go to our dynamic forms types. So I've got a couple of types here. I'm focused a lot on the medical stuff because it's a really good example, but they can be used for anything. If we open one of these up, you name it. You can give it a category if you want, whether or not it's active in your Neo system, and then the tab handling, multi, single, or auto. For my needles people, translating this, flat tab, list tab, or automatic. So you are no longer limited to a certain number of this or a certain number of that. You can add these on the fly, and they can be either a flat tab or a single is just one page with a set of data in it. A list tab is several entries that can then be opened up and the data is there. So the difference is like, the case tab is a single or flat tab, just these fields. And then notes is like a list tab or multi where you've got lots of different entries that you can open or close. Okay. So this is where you can go to add additional dynamic forms and set up their types. But then there is the dynamic forms layout manager. So you'll come here, you'll select your dynamic form that you've created, and then you've got all of your fields, everything you could possibly want. And of course, you can add any user-defined fields you want, and you just find or search for what you want, drag it over, put it here, and then you've got the classic settings. You can even make them required fields if you like. If a dynamic form is brought in and you want to require a date or require an examination type, you can do that. But this is how you build out those forms so that your users can then take advantage of them. So let's close that up. We'll close up our settings and we'll come back here. And this time we'll change it around. We're going to do a quick add of another dynamic form. And this time I'm going to select a treatment, which is a classic thing that you might be getting multiples of, and you want a nice, clean way to track them. You can create a new treatment tab. So treatment, add as a new tab, add that dynamic layout. I built just, shooting from the hip rundown of treatment. So we've got all of these different types of treatment. What type of treatment was it? Are they prescription medications, a surgery, a therapy? And then each one of them can have drop downs of types. So we've got different types of surgeries. We've got different types of therapy. Let's say this is occupational therapy. Again, at this time, Baltimore County Hospital, the dates of the treatment. You can put all of this stuff in and then save. And then it's going to create a new treatment tab. And if I add more and more, it's just going to create a list tab right there so that I can see all of my treatments in one place. And the best part is it's not taking up space until I need it, until I'm ready for it. So you and your Neos admins can sit down and get really creative about what type of dynamic forms you would like created. And then they're like on a shelf. Like as soon as you need them, you grab them on the shelf, you put them in your system, and they're there and they're filled out and they're easy. And if you need more, grab as many as you like. All right. That's dynamic forms. I could have used up our entire webinar on just that. It's so cool. And there's so much potential here. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with there. Let's jump back to our list. Dynamic forms, scrolling down. What else we got? The AI enhancements we covered. Law toolbox. So This is for the firms that are specifically using Law Toolbox. If you're not familiar with it, it is a very cool tool for tracking deadlines, especially in your specific region or jurisdiction. So we've made some improvements to that integration that allows some of the deadlines to also come over to your calendar and Outlook and be visible there. If you like, there is a whole video here, so come check it out or look up the knowledge base articles on Law Toolbox. That is cool stuff. Smith AI, again, if you happen to be using that tool, it's now integrated with Neos. If you ever have a chance, if you're an administrator, I recommend going to settings all the way to the bottom and integrations. This is your app store. This is all of the different things that integrate with Neos, and this list gets longer and longer every release. So Smith AI has been added to that list. And then I think this is the last item, second to last item, advanced search. So advanced search, really what it is it's a report writer on the fly. It's incredibly powerful. Man, I use that word a lot, but it is, and I love it. But the concept is usually advanced search, you're using it live. You're running a search and you can change all these parameters and you can find this data and you can interact with it and you can do whatever you want. But sometimes you need to generate an advanced search or report that then needs to be shared with someone either internally or externally with your firm. And we've kind of stepped up your customization options here. So in advanced search under export and PDF, you now have the ability to make some different changes here, including the margins. You can even pick custom ones if you want, so you can move things around just where you want them to be, but also with your firm logo and firm address, you can justify them just to move them where you want them to be and turn what is kind of a data document and a spreadsheet into a more like professional sort of report that you're sending out wherever it needs to go. Okay. 237. Y'all have been so patient with me. Let's go back here. And that last thing is the Sync Fusion Grid update. Big words, Brian. Why are you using big words? Just tell me what it is. Very simple. You may have noticed that there are two different types of grids in Neos. There is the old one, and then there is the new one. And the new one uses a tool called Sync Fusion. And we are slowly migrating all of the old grids to the new Sync Fusion grid, which is actually this, the one with the three dots up here. So we added, what was it? Browse cases is now on the Sync Fusion grid. So what that means is when you go to browse cases, you'll see this kind of layout. You remember the columns button on the right-hand side? Well, that's now up here in the three-dot menu, so you can pick whatever columns you want. But now all of the sort functionality, the fit functionality, it's all up here. You can drag things around and do whatever you need to, and it's going to remember what you set it as. So now when you come here and you make your view customizations for you specifically as a user, when you come back, it's going to pick up right where you left off. Okay, so that is the run through of the new features. That is the fast run through, believe me, of the new features of the August 2024 Neos release. Again, some really cool, some really exciting stuff. If you would like to consume that at a more human pace, as opposed to my auctioneering rundown here, you can always go to the question mark to open up the support portal, check out what's new, and the details are right here. And this is the page literally that we ran down. It's going to give you line by line and all of the videos. If you would like to see more videos, you can go to the Learning Hub. And a lot of the new stuff is always right here at the top, but everything is also here. The knowledge base has all of the different articles and cool things that you can read about if you like to consume knowledge from a reading perspective. Or if you haven't done it yet, I can't recommend this strongly enough. I'm super proud of this. Neos University, which is our online e-learning platform. There's two courses there right now. The beginner course for anybody who's just starting with Neos, or wants to really understand like maybe some of the things that they missed upon implementation for their firm, go back and learn. And then the administrator course for you Neos admins to really learn how to fine tune your Neos system to make it hum for your entire firm. And I know a lot of you have been waiting for it. The advanced course is coming. We're about halfway through. We're almost there. I expect that to be released in September. And now that I've said it out loud, I have to honor that. So we're going to have that Neos Advanced Certified User course right here next month. Okay. That is the rundown. It is 2:40. I'm sorry that I went over time. I will take a look at the questions and see if I can't send out some emails this afternoon. Again, we've recorded this. We will share it out for anybody that would like. And in the meantime, thank you so much for being a Neos user and joining us on today's webinar. I really appreciate your time. Have a good day, everybody. Good luck with the rest of your week. Good luck with the rest of August. And I hope your summer finishes up really well for all of you. Take it easy.